Hey, you guys, good morning. Welcome to another special episode of DPR Radio with your girl, Qianathegoddess and the incredible DJFMI. Hey, partner.
Uh, what's going on, Kiana? I am
Aw.
here. It is an early Thursday, but I feel like a ball of light, and I'm here, so I'm happy.
You look like a ball of light. You definitely shining. I know you had a late night last night. How was the show?
Oh man, it was an amazing show. Shout out to all of our winners. We had Creative Grounds from Philly that had a few artists that came out from Philly that hit the stage, and shout out to Showtime Tone. That's our first place winner, and I can't
Nice.
wait to have him also on VPR. And me and you, Kiana, we have a lot to discuss because we have a tour coming around in Philly where we're going to be doing some media and press. We're going to discuss
Yes.
that after the show, guys. So I look forward to these things that we're doing here, and Winning Wednesdays is coming a long way.
Dope. I'm so excited. And then we also have that pop up event with T Money coming up next month.
Yeah,
That's going to be really dope.
yeah.
So many
Uh,
amazing things on the horizon.
yeah, Kiana, I look at us and I just want us to stay busy. There's so much things to do out there. There's so many events we have hit together and we have covered
Yeah.
together. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to our future. Our calendar is filled up. Our guests are booked. So, I
Yeah.
can't complain at the moment.
Facts, partner. Me too. I'm really excited. So, how's the beginning of this retrograde been treating you? Because it's been
Oh
spinning
wow!
around like a little bit.
Yeah, you see the energy that Kiana's on. She's gonna bring up this retrograde. So for the people that do believe in astrology, right now, me and Kiana are the Libra duo. You know what I'm saying? If you tune into VPR, we say this all the time.
Facts.
But boy, has it been a challenging, I would say, month. It's
Hmm.
just with waking up in the middle of the morning and seeing that your account just got signed in New Mexico on Facebook and they're buying things on your account and they're running it up and they're using your likeness and you have to think about all of the business connections that I have on my Facebook, and for
Yeah.
someone to be taking my likeness and getting my account banned and then charging my account money. So I had to wake up and deal with that VPR. You know what I mean? I won't be on Facebook for 30 days because whoever hacked into my account has locked me out and done other stuff. But that's neither here or there. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's how this retrograde is kicking off.
Hmm.
But I'm in good spirits. Honestly, I
Yeah.
can't. I don't know. It ain't bothering me.
Yeah. It's crazy how many people I know that have gotten hacked. And, even recently we changed our passwords for that very reason. I see people getting hacked left and right. So, you guys, put on your two-step verification. Just be careful because there's big accounts that are getting hacked. Every time I turn around, I see one of my followers inboxing me like, "You got Cash App? What would you do if
Yeah.
you had $10
Oh
million?"
man.
Like, oh, they'd have gotten hacked, man.
And you know what it is. Before I even got on the live right now, Kiana, Burner. You know the weed brand cookies.
Yeah.
Burner. He's the owner of that. He was just
Okay.
actually doing a post to Instagram saying, "Hey, I run a legitimate business here. I have dispensaries all around the world, and
Yes.
you know, I'm not violating the community guidelines with what I'm posting, but you guys are flagging my content and shadow banning me, and that's affecting his outreach and his business. Especially, you have to think about he's probably putting money into the brand, through the Facebook media place where you could sit there and pay money for ads and stuff.
Sure.
And for him to be shadow banned, and he's telling people like, hey, some of his competition is actually sending bots to his comment section, and that
Wow.
also helps you to get shadow banned. So now it's not only that bots are coming in, people are sending bots to get your profile flagged.
Wow.
So they want to slow down your success. And I just feel like with Instagram and social media, it's been running rampant. With
Yeah.
anything that you post, you'll get a comment promoted here or
Yeah.
check out this flyer artwork
Hey,
or
fam, I love your content.
you
Inbox
know,
me.
yeah, and I just think Instagram and Facebook have to crack. Meta has to crack down on that because
Mhm.
it's just messing up the user experiences. And also, I run a business. You know what I'm saying? And when those things are coming in, it just makes the post look illegitimate. It
Yeah,
makes and it's a hassle.
it is.
And these are some of the same profiles that are trying to hack you. So
Right.
you know,
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention the multiple profiles, right? Where people will create a profile that's almost just like yours so they can go around pretending to be you. You have
oh,
that. Then you've
I've
actually
yeah,
got the factor of Meta. Meta is not working hand in hand to make especially small businesses thrive. It's not. They're taking
No.
away more and more of your reach. You see less and less of the people that follow you. And it's not because they don't want to interact with you, it's because they don't see your content. And then when
Yeah.
you pay for ads, they'll see some of your content. They're still not going to see it all. You literally have to be putting, like, depending on the size of your business, either hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars per month
And
into Facebook advertising just to get your regular reach, and
but
then a little bit of advertising.
but you know, Qiana, this also touches back into now. Look at how we consume media and the demographic of the age group that creates the content that we watch. You know, I was just doing some studies, I would say, and I was watching a documentary, and it was showing that they have TikTok houses now. You know what I mean? Where one person will say, I own a house, and I'll open it up to the top TikTok stars and say, hey, I'll pay for you to be here, but we're making branding money from you. So basically, I'm curating the young talent and going to these big companies and saying, hey, my TikTok artist or star has 1.4 million, and you want to pay us 20,000 for your brand. We'll have them do the video and then bounce it out to them, and we have all rights. And this is the common knowledge now. You know what I mean? So look at how these now young minds are looking at creating content as much as a job, and which it is.
It is.
And to stay in this algorithm, in order to get those likes that you want, or in order to get that stream that you want, you have to play ball with Instagram, and that means posting every day. That means posting TikTok every day, creating high production value content. And remember, after you post it, it's done. If it doesn't hit 1 million, they don't make the money, so it's nothing to them.
There's nothing they can do. The only thing about that, and I think that a lot of people don't consider that when they approach social media marketing, is that it's all going to be dependent upon your brand too. First of all, the art of the website has gotten lost, and we need to get back to that, because that's number one, what's going to lift your profile, your footprint online, basically get you in Google and get you in tow. Instagram, Meta, if you will, because they're the mother, right, of everything. They own your data. So the people that are coming and visiting you and stuff, you're not getting any of that information. So you can take ownership of your data by making sure that you have a website. And not just that, but now the more that you kind of, if you use Instagram or TikTok to pique someone's interest and then get them to go to your website, now you can finalize your sale. The click-through rate when it comes to ads, there's ads everywhere. So everyone's not clicking and then purchasing, you know? So a lot of times going out to these influencers, you might get 5 million views, but if that doesn't transfer over into 10%, or let's say 5% even of sales from all of those views, then what are you really paying for? You know what I mean? And that's where it comes to knowing your demographic. If you're a brand like Target, right? Your key customer is not 12 to 14. They don't even have the money to go out and shop. It's the head of those households, right? And then people that are in income brackets where they want to save money, people that shop at Walmart. So like, know your customer base so that you know how to advertise to them. And that's why the biggest companies use these different types of ads, and they still even do television and newspaper and such, because they know they're not just looking for 12-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds that are on TikTok, because that doesn't mean they're going to buy your product.
And that's what baffles me. I was watching a 16-year-old kid from Nebraska, you know, with 4 million followers, and he's just like, yeah, you know, per video I might make my 15K, 30,000 if I hit my threshold. And when he's saying that, and he's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna go back to Nebraska. I flew out here to LA just to do TikTok and content. And they're taking this more serious at a younger age. And I don't knock it. You know what I mean? Look at it like this. The way I view it is, if we let TV actors and actresses go about it and go on all these platforms and, you know, have these interviews, they're just making it into a smaller, they're just creating their own fan base, just like those same Holly Berries and things like that, using their TikTok. So, you know, at a younger age where business is now,
right?
Yeah, brands are going to these creators now and saying, hey, I'd rather not work with a 30-year-old, because if I get the 16-year-old, people are going to be more, what would be the best word? People are going to be more attached to his life because he's growing up and it's a better brand. You understand what I'm saying? So they say, hey, if he gets in a relationship, we can market that on TikTok. If he gets in this, we can market that. They move couples into these houses, Qiana, just for content. It's like Real World, but of TikTok stars, and all of them are just creating content, making money in a house, paying the
Wow.
bill, and it baffled me, but it makes complete sense.
It's amazing. You could not have gone back 20 years ago
Yep.
and thought that people could become celebrities, really, literally, just
Yeah.
from creating videos and
From
stuff. You wouldn't
dancing, you know what I mean? Doing the
on their phone, like without true production value, equipment, especially
that's
like that
correct.
comes in the game. You know what I mean? But people love the authenticity of it, and I think that that's why reality shows took off the way that they did. Now most of them are scripted, but like when
Yeah,
they first,
yeah. After
people
making the
love
band for me, it was just like, all right. I think that was the pinnacle of reality TV.
reality TV.
Yeah, for the most part. But and look at, like, we're gonna tie back into social media. Drake and like the Jay-Z's and the other artists before the early 2015, like before Soulja Boy, the internet was never a thing where their grinding was just solely based off getting into the right rooms, meeting the right people, and shaking the right hands. Now, so many acts don't even realize that was a process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they're going straight from their bedroom to these huge stages. And I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it at all. There's elevation, there's change, but it's just, with seeing that, you can see the longer acts and the acts that vanish overnight just because they have that bedroom success.
Right.
And we're seeing that now.
I
You know
agree.
what I mean? The little pump, the people that can't sell as much records as they did because the Instagram cloud has now faded away. You're getting older. Your base doesn't want to see you just go, let's get it. It's not. You know what I mean? VPR.
What's up, V? Good morning. Yo, that is so funny. You made such great points because it's true. And things like this, they have an expiration date. So you better get in there and create your content. Like, I'm not mad at anybody taking their 15 minutes of fame and dragging it out as long as possible.
As you should. Get your coins.
As you should. But at the same time, you've got people that don't like you never even see Jay-Z on social media. You feel me? Like, that's how he moves. People will have pictures of him. You don't see him on social media like that. Like, he's hit the pinnacle of a point in his career where everybody knows who I am. I don't have to show up. I don't have to take pictures.
I don't got to wear a chain. I don't got to pull up in a Rolls Royce. You know what's happening. You know who I am.
I know that the next wave, and we were talking about this a lot at MeCon with Web 3.0 and obviously virtual reality. I think that's going to change a lot for what's happening with content creators. What do you think?
Yeah, look at it. Just look at it in this aspect. As far as the hip hop community, when our acts age, we push them out. We say you're washed up and things like that.
Unfortunately,
but if with this metaverse that we're dabbling in now, the acts never age. LL Cool J will be LL Cool J from the 90s every time he performs in Meta. So this will now bring on a whole new avenue of the way artists can monetize what they're doing. You get what I'm saying? The older DJ can DJ in his young Meta World body forever. You know what I'm saying? So it's limitless. It's really limitless with the possibilities that are happening right now, if done correctly.
Yeah. And I think that people need to really bear that in mind and start thinking about, when it comes to especially branding yourself, whether you're an artist or a creator, a business, how you're going to be able to integrate that into the next wave of your business. Because at some point, all of these videos and stuff that are fun and whatnot, they're going to almost be obsolete because you're going to need to take that to a whole new level.
Don't forget.
Or you can't compete at all.
Let's not forget, Qiana, when Donald Trump was sitting there almost canceling TikTok. I thought it was funny at first. I was like, people have to get a real job. But TikTok is a job.
Yeah.
Doing writing script and coming up with videos and coming up with ideas, brainstorming in order to interact with your followers, that is a job. And I just want these young kids know that now, and I'm happy about it. You know what I mean? At a younger age, because they know in their value. So I can never knock it.
Right. Not mad at that.
Qiana, we have another sad story.
What?
VPR, we got another sad story. I say it this way. Okay. Remember that song with Drake and Meek Mill? We might just get hit with the RICO.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They hit some YSL boys with that RICO, and they cleaned them up. 28 of them has been arrested. VPR, Young Thug, Gunna leading them. Yak Gotti, Duke, there's so many of them that I actually listen to, and
Yeah, I saw the whole list. I was like, that is insane. And we
you
talk
know,
about this all the time how our young rappers are either being killed, right, or being put in jail. Like it's not even removing the threat from society. But
and
at the same time, what are who's not going to learn from Bobby Shmurda about making music that has lyrics that are associated to a crime that you committed?
and Young Thug was a he. I remember listening to these songs. He's like, send the bodies to the lawyer. They could have all the killings. I'm like, you gotta stop saying that because now all these records they're using his lyrics against him in court already. They already
Yeah.
denied him and Gunna Bond already.
Wow.
So, and I remember when these things were happening, he had a beef with YFN Lucci. That's the guy that created the song "Every Day We Lit,"
Okay.
and I think he was actually dating Lil Wayne's daughter also. So, something happened where it was a shootout. Somebody gets hit in a car. They push a guy out the car. His own friend that was dead. That guy ended up getting shot in the car with him. Pushed him out the car and drove off and left him. And
That's nice.
And then with everything that Young Thug allegedly was, with shots at Lil Wayne's tour bus and people around him with shooting at Lil Wayne's tour bus when they had that beef when Young Thug just came out in like 2015. I remember that time there. And now it's all catching up to him. And look at the career that this man has had. We have done Rolling Loud and I've seen this man perform. You know what I mean? Positive energy. But it's just like you have to keep the streets in the streets.
You have to. You have to. There comes a point where you're at a pivot moment, right? A pivotal moment. Are you going to continue the shenanigans that, kept you in the struggle and kept you in that street mentality and not really getting anywhere? And that's where like learning financial education and stuff is so key because these young men, they're getting these deals, they have money they've never seen before, and they're taking that same street mentality and they're just carrying forward. Now they got a whole bunch of money. Like,
yeah.
One thing, it doesn't matter how much money you have, also, right? You cannot run from karma. So the shit that you've done to people, you committed murders, et cetera, et cetera. If it doesn't come back to you directly in this lifetime, it's gonna come back to your family or other really shady ways. Live your life right, man. And if you've been living wrong, and now you have a chance, start doing your best to clean up your karma. That means do well as much as you can toward other people so that you can clean up your karma. So hopefully you can get away from some of that bad stuff that you did and you won't have to pay for it in such a severe way.
It's like right now, Qiana, if you look at all these rappers that are locked up, it's a bunch of them from New York, Atlanta, and the hip hop police are doing their job. And you have to understand, with this being said, they're cracking down on all the gang activity in these cities like New York and Atlanta. And Little Baby's even tied up in this case now. So, you know what I mean? They have him in that case, and he's one of the top hip hop acts right now. So it goes far on these young men. You know what I mean? And
this is completely unrelated, but what's his name? ASAP also got
a charge and
a gun charge, right?
And I get it. Sometimes I sit there and I try to put myself in the shoes of these rappers and say, hey, I'm around situations where people might want to take my life, but I just wish some of them, look at our older acts like the Young Jesus and the Jay-Z's and learn how to rap and leave it alone.
Yeah.
Then rap and get locked up.
Right? You don't have to be your own security.
Thank you. You know what I mean? You see Drake.
Armed security, bro.
You see Drake, he got 3 cars armored with guards outside walking with guns on the outside of the car. But not every artist is going to have that. But at the same time,
you just need one good gun, bro. One good man and one good gun.
Tell Young Thug that man had a lot. But my thing is, I just want these people to enjoy their success and stop like just lubricating these freaking huge major record deal companies' pockets. Because every time they get locked up, they're going to get more streams every damn time. Every time they get locked up, everything's going to go up. But you're in jail. You can't even reap the benefits of your reward. Right. Because you're getting locked up and somebody else is getting paid for you like, good job, good job, good job.
And don't have to pay restitution because you're never going to see that money. You worked so hard to become successful. And you're only showing your fans, right? Because their fans are between 10 or 12 and 20s to 30s. You're showing these younger, impressionable kids that are growing up that like this is the life to live. Hopefully, some of them see, well, going to jail is not what's popping, but it's like you gotta
They're facing
get up.
life. It's just like they're throwing life at Young Thug. They're throwing life at most of these artists. YFN Lucci, because he was sending hits out in jail to get the man, dealt with. So they have information upon pages of information. I'm just like, it's not looking too good.
Everybody want to be
Casanova, another one. You know what I mean? There's another rapper in jail, Casanova,
Yeah,
from being from New York and being from Brooklyn, and seeing
yeah.
him do that, and he's about to
I
face
was
60
just at
years.
his album release party a few years ago for VPR, and
You
then
know,
that very same year he got bagged.
and this is out of hand. I want to see our artists in hip hop really enjoy their hard work, but we must look in the mirror first and say, hey, what am I putting out there? What energy am I projecting in? What cause will it have in my life? And that accountability comes with it.
Accountability comes with it. You said a word,
Yeah.
partner. I didn't know we were
We're getting older. VPR, we're all getting older. You know what I mean? And we all have to hold ourselves accountable, because at the end of the day, when you go to bed at night, you fall asleep with the things you didn't accomplish, your failures, the things that you did great on, but you have to see it. You have to sit there and see that.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at with Qiana.
I mean, absolutely. That's definitely where I'm at, and that takes self-reflection, which takes, a level of maturity. So again, when these young guys don't have that ability or the time or energy or even know how to begin self-reflection and looking at their past, their present, their future, it's like you're throwing it all away. Set goals, you guys, and stick to your goals. You get an opportunity, don't piss it away. Don't piss it away. These
I'm
opportunities.
listening. VPR, you give me a chance to make $1 million, which I'm gonna make that $1 million. Believe that. Yeah. At the same time, you tell me all I gotta do is wake up and say a few words and have a few writers. I ain't complaining. Right. All right, y'all need me to be the next Demi Lovato. I'm gonna get the win. We gonna beat Demi Lovato. What are you talking about?
And you got it. I know you're not gonna have 10 guns in your car while we're on the way.
No, man. You know what I mean? It's just I don't put out that energy. You know what I'm saying?
No, not at all.
There's no need for it. There's no need for it anymore.
Yeah, what's up, Chris? In the building.
I'm looking forward to having our guest here. You know what I mean? I have a few questions that I've lined up for him with all his accomplishments that he has done, and I want to touch on some critical race theory today, because I want to pick his brain. VPR, we're here. It's a happy Thursday, and I'll bring you that.
Yeah, we've been having some really great conversations. Shout out to JD. That was such
fantastic. I have watched that interview, and other people have sat with me and watched that interview, and he opened my eyes upon a few things just in a short period of time we sat, and it felt like I knew the man for years.
Yeah.
And when I have an interview like that, it's a pleasure. So it's less like I'm doing an interview and more like, oh wow, I'm getting to casually know the person, and that's what makes it.
Right, like you're just sitting down and having a conversation. I think that's what I love about our platform too. And we've never been like, let's go for the jugular. You know what I mean? What can we ask them that's going to be scandalous and spicy?
Yeah,
that's not how we get our.
And I feel like there's so many other platforms on there that want to pick at that, and that's cool too. I ain't gonna tell you how to do your content, but if I can't uplift or if I can't sit here and provide something of value to you guys every morning or every other morning, then why am I here?
I agree. That's why I love your energy. That's why I keep the circle small. Oh, the wedding.
Yes.
Oh my God, the wedding of the year, of the century. Oh.
VPR, I had a blast entertaining a wedding over the weekend. It was amazing. Shout out to Velvet and Patrick. Thank you for having RPM VPR Radio. Qiana, you were stunning that night.
Thank you.
And you were very lucky catching the
that wasn't luck, honey. That was not luck. Okay. She announced that she was getting married. That bouquet was mine. Okay? We talked over a year ago.
That bouquet was mine. I'm letting y'all know.
Kenya said, well, you manifested the hell out of that shit because you were not playing. I said, no, that's right.
Yeah, I look back on the video because I'm getting ready to have actually post everything. I'm looking back on the video and I finally see you grabbing. I'm like, because I'm in the back, I'm DJing VPR. I can't see the front of the crowd. So
and then it went down, so I had to go down with it. I said,
yo, oh man. Shout out to all the artists that are doing positive things also. J. Cole keeping his promise of attending a graduation to one of his fans from like 4 years ago. And I think that's amazing. He said, if you get into this certain college, I'll attend your graduation. And he definitely pulled up and did.
I absolutely love that. Yeah. And I love his music. I mean, but being a man of your word, that's everything and then some. You know, you want to help give incentives to these kids to be able to thrive and do better. You know, he's an educated man, so I love it. I love it. At the end of the day, you know, whether you have a career in music, sports, whatever it is, that's a creative cycle, right? You always want to have education in any other form because it's still going to carry over into your business. This is why a lot of artists get screwed over, right? They don't know the business of the music business. They just, you know, I hear a lot of people say sometimes, oh, I'm just the creator. I don't know any of that. I don't know anything about that. That's
blissful ignorance.
That's a way to think, Coney. Okay.
Blissful ignorance. That's what it sounds like.
Blissful ignorance.
Something I can't afford.
And if you want to be that ignorant, I hope that you can afford to be because you have somebody by your side that knows all of that business, so they got your back. Because if you're just leaving it open and you're like, well, it's
I'm gonna just let it fall into place. All right.
Man.
A lot of people are gonna make sure they fall in your pockets.
Yes. And that you will not. They'll be in your pockets and you won't even know what the hell's going on. So be careful, you know, educate yourselves. That is so prime.
Mm-hmm. Qiana, have you been listening to new music? We have a few big albums dropping this weekend and a few albums that have dropped also.
I did download the Pusha T album, but I haven't listened to it as of yet. I listened to a couple of joints. I don't know what else. I've kind of been out of the loop, to be honest. I've been in like Google
you know me. I'm here DJing all the time, and if I can't VPR, we are going to find that way so I can spin. I know it's been a minute. Do not worry. We're working on that.
God, we miss you, FMI.
Yes. So Jack Harlow has dropped, and he's on pace to sell like 220. You know, now reception's coming back. People are releasing the reviews of the album, and they're not coming out too well. Not to say that it's a weird thing now, because as a DJ, the term mid is thrown around. You know what mid is?
No.
We don't smoke on mid, and if someone calls your music mid, it's like medium. It's all right. It's
Okay,
mid.
Makes sense.
So online, everyone's calling the album mid, or just due to the fact that they're feeling like he's trying to sound like Drake a lot, and he's sampling a lot of artists. Like that Glamorous track with Fergie, that is amazing, but that's nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? But what's going on with him?
Because Drake sampled everything on his last album.
He did, but at the same time, Drake created a lane that he built up a body of work where people are not going to question it. As far as Jack Harlow, this is his second project, but he's treating it as his first project, and the way everything's lined up, the industry's pushing him. You know what I mean? And you can see it. He has the image, he has the music for the clean top 40 look, but the music isn't connecting, and a lot of people online are saying that, and they're saying his album is mid, this is trash. Why would I listen to this if I could listen to Future and Kendrick Lamar dropping Friday? So like the world's stopping, everyone's treating it like that. So you know what I mean?
What did you think of it though?
All right. So I try to sit there and give every artist a fair shake when it comes to their music, even if it's not my cup of tea. Yeah. As far as Jack Harlow is, there's not a bunch of things that I can relate. And you know, there's a few lines that are just questionable for me. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? It's just like I can say one, but I don't need y'all to judge me, VPR. In the song that he got with Fergie, he said, I give it sweet, sweet, sweet semen. I'm like,
okay.
I can't say that bar, bro. I can't sing about semen. And that bar just don't hit. But you know what I mean? So there's a lot of that on the album for me where it's like a lot of sampling and it's okay, but it's just his calm demeanor. He doesn't change his energy. You know how certain rappers would be more aggressive, certain sounds, and then calm, but him is this one tone. You
Oh,
know what
I
I mean?
can't stand a
It's
one
the
note.
cool one guy song. I just do
Yeah,
this,
no.
and then next week, come on, I just do this, and you're gonna get 18 songs of that. You know what I mean? And he's singing about women and saying sweet, sweet semen, and
Right.
I'm just like, and I get it. You know what I mean? I'll play your records when it comes to.
I don't know that as a woman, that's exactly what we're gonna connect to. You know what I'm saying? So who are you really talking to about the sweet
You
sweet
know,
semen? I'm not
yeah,
sure.
but watch, she's gonna sell at least 120K. At least on pace to sell 115, and that's great. You know what I mean? This is like his sophomore album. I would say he dropped a
Yeah.
few, but I'm more looking forward right now to the Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
That he dropped a new video counter. I definitely think you should check that out. VPR,
Yeah.
where his face was changing.
Morphing.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, his face was changing from Jesse Smollett,
Yeah.
Kobe,
Yeah.
Nipsey.
Yeah.
I don't know who else. Kanye just dropped a new single doing the same thing with the facial identification thing. So,
Okay.
it's a good time for music. Kanye's getting back to
Yeah, I
that.
think I did see that. He took like pictures of himself and like superimposed him.
Yeah, and
Rapping, right? Yeah.
the deep face
Deep fake.
thing.
Yeah.
And he used that. And as far as the new single from Kanye, it's giving me more of like a "Wake Up, Mr. West" type of vibe, and that's the Kanye I've been looking for
That's
from
the one
years
we've been
ago. At least
missing. Right.
I need that. I don't need Ye. I don't need Kanye, Jesus,
Right.
Yeezy, Ye.
Easy.
I ain't knocking it, but I don't want it. I don't wake
Yeah.
up in the morning and do that. Nah, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a great time for hip hop VPR. You know what I mean? Definitely check out these artists. Check out some of the unsigned artists on our page on our Spotify. Click that link, and we're gonna keep this going.
Yeah, I see that Dr. Clark just pulled up, so I definitely want to bring him up to the stage so we can get this popping because we have a lot of questions for him. Good morning, Dr. Clark. Welcome to VPR Radio.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sorry about that, man. I had to call the young ones, the students, to get me on this morning.
Oh, it's okay.
I reached out for my lifeline with the kids today, man.
It's all good. You got to dial in sometimes, and get that help.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you being here.
I am happy to be here today, actually, and it's a great day. Great, finally sunny in my area and warm, so I'm excited about that. Glad to be here.
Yeah, we've had some interesting weather here in New York too. It may rain, it may snow, it may
it may do a lot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. But I want to dive right in. I know my partner FMI has a lot of questions as well, but I want to set it off with knowing a little bit about your background as an educator and how and why you created the Richard Wright schools and what they mean to our children.
Well, listen, first of all, I'm just excited. I'm an educator, man. I'm a life educator. This is all I've been doing since I got out of school. And my journey started kind of broken. I was a kid that did not do well in school. I graduated from high school in 5 years. I scored a 480 on an SAT. I had a 1.6 grade average. I wasn't accepted to over 150 colleges. I got a rejection letter. So my energy around education was dilapidated before I walked into some college doors. That's why I got my college, Ms. Clark Atlanta on today, because it saved my life. And so my journey as an educator, getting started with wanting to do a school, started with just becoming a teacher, because I had a poor public school education. And when I look back, I never wanted a kid to see through the eyes of that I looked through education, and that I wanted them to have a different experience, one that would engage them, something that they wanted to do, they could take ownership of their learning. And so when I had a chance to become a teacher, I promised myself that I would be the best damn teacher ever. I would be the one that nobody would look to. The kids would all be excited about, me, and we would get that learning going, that thirst for knowledge. And so I became a teacher, and I moved up the ranks to a principal. And then I found out about charter schools and how we could actually get a charter school moving. And having been an educator so long, I realized that a lot of kids were being used for pawns just to get a check, right? But that people weren't educating them. They were making decisions that were not in the best hands of young people. And then I realized why I was that victim, because we had some educators doing the same thing. So being a former high school principal, kids would come to ninth grade 3 to 5 grade levels behind in reading and in math. So I said, hey, what's the best way to conquer that? Let me get into the game of charter schools where I could actually work individually with students. We could individualize the curriculum. We could work with the highest kids, the low kids, and we could make some things happen that would be phenomenal for kids, especially kids Black and brown, right? And so with that whole conversation, I decided that I was going to get a team around me, and we were going to start a charter school organization that would be off the charts. And we would focus on reading and writing and math. And we would work with kids who never had opportunities about their own learning. And we would have a school named after somebody who was defiant against the status quo, Richard Wright. And so we decided we were going to do Richard Wright, a journalism school where kids could do exactly what you guys are doing, that you would have to be a researcher in order to be able to have a voice. So we would begin to understand how to fix reading. And as you fix reading, you fix writing. And if you fix reading and writing, you develop a voice. And if you got a voice, you the bomb, because you can go back in that community and you can start shaking up some things positively, and you can start telling a story that ain't nobody else going to tell at 4, 5, and 6 o'clock on mainstream news.
Oh, and I love it. Yes.
I do love that too, Qiana. You know what I mean? I don't come across so much educators that are passionate as the way you are. You know what I mean? I sat in many classrooms in college where the professor will just sit down. All right, guys, this is what we're doing here. Take this book, and this is what it is. And I get it. You know what I mean? We're in college. We're in high school. You have to want to learn. So my next question to you is, what do you think the biggest challenge in the education system is?
You know what? And people are not going to like when I say it, man, but the biggest challenge we have is not finances. It's not just the political, because we understand that the political climate is always dreary. It's not that. Superman is not coming to save us, or Superwoman. The biggest issue that we have right now is parents. People want the parental, because the parent is the first teacher. And I've been saying this a long time, that your first teacher is the one that sets the pathway for you. And the biggest challenge that educators have is that we're doing our jobs, and people signed up to give their lives to support and to serve. And a lot of times they are not given the same respect that's needed. And that respect goes a long way. We got to remember, educators spend more time with kids during the day than their whole family do. And so, but we're fighting with parents on a regular basis. I can give you a couple scenarios before we get off today about some things that I'm fighting with personally, with a few individuals around ensuring that their young people has a prolific mindset to understand that when they graduate, they're going into a cold world that you can't advocate for, but they have to be ready.
Right. I actually agree with you. You know, being a parent, I've successfully already raised 4 adults, and I have 2 young ones, but I will wholeheartedly agree with you. Parenting, you know, is like at its worst, I think, and especially in our community. We've got the internet. People are allowing television and YouTube to raise their children. And it's not even like they're necessarily putting them in front of educational programs, whereas they're just learning whatever. Cursing at your kids, you know, treating them with a lack of respect. They're then going to school and treating the other children with disrespect, treating the teachers with disrespect. In fact, it's so much so that I've always said to my children, and I've never been wrong, when there's some sort of bully that's messing with them at school, I'm like, I guarantee you what the parent is already like. It's a trickle down effect. They're repeating what they see at home. And then I see that there's just a lack of cooperation, a lack of care for, you know, what you want your children to be able to do with their future, or if you can even help them envision having a future. Now, this is obviously such a deeper conversation because we're going back into like mental, you know, slavery and the thought process and why this is kind of continued and it's falling apart. So I think that it's so key because especially for elementary and up, as you're grabbing these children, you're helping to really reshape their lives and how they can see their future. And then they grow up to be the parents that make those changes, you know. So I really, first of all, want to applaud you for what you're doing. And I want to speak further on how you began to develop these curriculums for the schools.
So we did a deep dive into what were the academic challenges of the young people that we were going to serve: urban, inner city, black and brown children. We already knew some of the challenges. 100% free and reduced lunch. You knew that they had been educated in some of the worst schools in the city, which means that they had teachers that were coming and going. The curriculum was not appropriate to meet every student's needs, but a holistic approach that only dabbed at a few individuals. So you recognize that there was going to be a problem. So for us, we took a deep dive into how can we make sure that every student that walks in this door will be college ready by the time they graduate. And that's not an easy task. And so you're looking at kids who are already 3 to 5 grade levels behind. How do you make that work? And so we decided to create a curriculum that, first of all, we examine every quarter. So we're going through the curriculum every quarter, and we're also requiring every week that we have professional development with our teachers to address the needs and concerns of the low-level students, but not just them, the students who are able to excel beyond, because that's a group of young people that's left behind as well. You shouldn't be a great student that needs to be challenged more, but you're forced to be in schools where they do not allow you to employ all of the great energy you have around learning. And so within that curriculum, we built a pattern of energy around how to make that happen, looking at clear data. And here's the most important thing: meeting with the young people independently to explain to them what they are doing individually with their peers. That is a motivator themselves, because they understand that if my boy here, James, that's next to me, is able to score a 7 on an exam and I'm only scoring at a 4, what do I need to do to improve myself? And kids, a lot of times as educators, we talk over them and not to them. And as we're talking to them, the motivating factor is there. Remember, educators are designed to be coaches. And if you think about a coach will tell you play by play what he needs you to do. So we've taken that same playbook and put it in the classroom. So play by play, we're telling you, this is what we need to do. We're going to model it, we're going to examine it, and then we're going to give you the feedback. And so as we're developing these curriculums, that's exactly what we're doing to get that energy there and to make kids feel good about learning themselves.
Absolutely phenomenal. FMI, we need to link him with Dr. Ronalus, who is an educator as well, and a scientist that created a meta program. And we're going after being able to get these programs into schools, especially for children of color, because as we move through technology, in New York, it's a big problem. A lot of kids, even if they graduate, they don't have any real kind of skill sets. And if they graduate and they don't have the motivation to go to college, they're kind of falling by the wayside. So being able to teach them these skills, teach them self-motivation, entrepreneurship. I'm actually putting a program together right now for the DOE for entrepreneurship. Why aren't we teaching this in our schools to our children, right? Why don't they have the ability to have this independent and creative thinking, whereas it's just, books? And let's not even talk about the lack of real history that's not,
Yes.
So, I mean, that's absolutely wonderful. That is how you approach creating a school and having children be successful in education. So let me just thank you for what you do for our children, because that's imperative.
Yes, it is. And also, I see that you've written a book. So I definitely wanted to touch on that also. Go for
Oh man, that's the book. Parents, Where Are You? The Kids Are Out of Control. That's the first book. And the second one is coming out soon. It's called Dream Bigger. That is, we want people to continue to dream. What I'm telling kids all the time: if your dream is not so large that it scares you, that you can only see the unimaginable, like if that dream is not there, then you ain't dreaming big enough for me. Like, my energy is just so strong that when I walk in, I got a champion attitude, right? It's just what it is. Like, because I hate losing. Like the reality of losing for me just can't can't happen. You know, one of my fraternity brothers, we have a mantra we say to each other. I may not win the race, but I refuse to be last. And that is the reality that we take in the classroom. I refuse to be last. You know, I'm always somebody's going to be better for me, which means I got to train harder because I want to try to be better than the person that's in front of me. And I got to keep pushing. And so that energy comes into that classroom and we just won't stop, man. We just won't stop. My energy, I know y'all laughing at me now, man, but this is how I come in the building.
We're laughing. I'm listening.
This is what we talk about.
This is the energy that we bring here at VPR every Thursday. So I'm loving that energy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You just being this passionate, you know what I mean? And our viewers that are tuning in, and I hope that, you know, they tap in with you and we network. But this passion, it's amazing, especially what you're doing with these children.
When I'm talking about educating kids, man, we talking about changing the world. We talking about, that's how you seize power. You get people with knowledge up here and give them a strategic mindset. You teach them some things that they can go out and they can change that community. I want to train revolutionaries, right? Educational change agent revolutionaries. And that's the mindset we got to put into our young people. We got to pour it into them like none ever before. Like, you can do anything you put your mind to. Because I say to kids, like, hey, man, you know, you want to be rich? Well, guess what? The person that's rich sat in the same seat you're sitting in. You got to remember that, right? They weren't always rich. They sat in that same seat, and you got to milk everything you can and take advantage of the people before you, because we only live one day at a time.
Right. Absolutely. I love that. I want to touch a little bit also on male empowerment. Can you tell me what that means for you and how you are an advocate for males in our community?
You know, male empowerment to me means that you have to be a male that understands first how to honor women and how to honor the chivalry of what that looks like. You lead by partnership and compromise. That's leadership. And sometimes leading for males, I make them understand that you don't always lead from the front. Sometimes leaders lead from the back because you support individuals. If you are an effective male, you're going to get individuals that, if you're steadfast with your mission and you are unwilling to resist in a mission that you have in your mind, that is leadership. And so we're creating males that understand that it is our responsibility to galvanize and support. It is our responsibility to support our young ladies and support our women by any means necessary. So that means that whatever you have to do, let me say this, as a revolutionary, you got to be willing to give your life for the next person, no matter what it takes. You got to be willing. And so when we create those oak trees of males and they are stead strong, I'm going to tell you, you come in my organization and we have an assembly, my boys know if there's not one seat, you better get up. And you better make sure that every young lady that's in there has a seat before you sit down. And that becomes natural because whatever's reiterated to the mind over and over and over again becomes your reality. And that's what we're doing. We're saying stuff to these young guys to make them understand it's your job, it's your position. And just because you're male doesn't mean that you're supposed to be king of the castle. That just means that you are in a leadership role to compromise and to help build, because we were designed to be builders, not those individuals that would take away.
Man, listen, Dr. Clark, you are saying a word. Hey, this is a sermon and a half. You are talking to my heart. I mean, the kids, the male, thought process, the parenting. I mean, these are things we discuss on VPR all the time. So I'm so happy that you are in a place where you're working, so hard at reaching as many people as you possibly can with your message. What you just said about, creating these oak tree of men, that was like, that was it for me, because that's exactly what we need. We need that male leadership. We need not to be dominated, but we need that guidance and that leadership. And I just feel like things have been falling apart at the seams, right? 60s, 70s, 80s. It's just unraveling, unraveling, unraveling. We got to pick things up and put them back together. And we have to do so quickly because we talk about like at risk. Black people are at risk. You know what I mean? All of our lives are at risk. You're born in this country, you're at risk. We've always been the ones left behind statistically. So it's time to make those changes and, like you said, revolutionize. I'm with it. I absolutely love it.
And Dr. Marco, so let me ask a question. What's your take on critical race theory only being pushed in certain schools and pushed out? What's the idea?
Listen, first of all, we've never taught critical race theory in this country ever anyway. So let's just put that out there, and if you ask folks that are of a certain age group, if you were raised in the 70s, 80s, you had a little bit of African American history in those textbooks anyway. You had to get that knowledge somewhere else. So to talk about that, this is like a big thing, like it's been like, just tons and tons of information. If you ask the average Black person, all they know is Martin Luther King, Rosa Parks, Malcolm X, and that's it. You can't go deeper into the individuals who made a lot of change, who sacrificed themselves for the benefit of our culture. People don't know that. And so to push that out says to me that slavery is on the rise, is in the horizon for the future. And until we can begin to step back and say, how do we stop that? First of all, you got to educate. Second of all, you got to galvanize. Third of all, you got to make sure that you got some oak trees who are not afraid to do what's necessary for the community. That's what has to happen. And so all of this critical race theory stuff is garbage, and it's taking shape because it's in places where it can be spewed out that way. But we gotta spew back and understand that we were meant to be leaders. This is our country. This is our space. And everything that about us is necessary. Now, should you learn other races and cultures? Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with learning Eurocentric information. You need to know. I want to know about George Washington. I want to know about Abraham Lincoln. I want to know about all of those individuals. Every person that's on a bill that you spend, you should know something about it. But I also want to know about the other individuals who contributed to the holistic nature of our country and this world. We're not isolated. Unfortunately, this is not an America problem. This is not a South Africa problem. This is not an Africa problem. This is a worldwide problem when it comes to people of color, that we are ostracized everywhere. When you see those individuals who are being pushed out of the country because of war right now, it is unfortunate that is happening. Definitely, you never want to see that happen to any individual. However, when you really take a good look, the individuals who look like you and I, they are being left over there. I haven't seen them come over. Other countries that have had devastations are not being invited. We got to make sure that we are doing things for everyone, to support everyone, because every culture, every race matters. And that's what's important.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Yeah.
Yes,
you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah.
I believe that. So, Qiana, you have any follow-up questions also?
I mean, I have so many questions, but I know that we're out of time. So I would actually love to invite you to come back on, and I'll be in contact with your PR. Definitely want to connect you to Dr. Ronalist. I think you guys can make some sense. And again, I just want to congratulate you on all that you're doing, to help our communities really walk and step into their power. We're way beyond time. We're 3 to 5 grades behind, right? When it comes to success and when it education and healthcare and everything else. And it's time to make those changes. So we really do appreciate you being here today. Please keep doing what you're doing. Let everyone know where they can follow you. And also if you have any, any live talks or anything that are coming up that you want to promote or discuss.
Yeah. So folks can follow me at Dr. Marco Clark on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. You can also, I got several engagements coming up, but one of them that's sticking out, I'll be in Memphis, June 16th, speaking at a leadership conference for educators. And I can't wait to get in there with that whole group of educators and kick it to them, and we got some stuff that we're going to talk about. But June 16th in Memphis, if you're going to be in Memphis, stop past and it's the Mid-South leadership conference. I'll be there. Several other radio shows. Just follow me at Dr. Marco Clark. There'll be a whole list of things that we're doing. And I can I shout out a couple individuals. I got to shout out the great Richard Wright charter schools in Washington, D.C. We got a phenomenal staff, phenomenal students, and phenomenal parents, man. I can't do my work without the team that I have. They're a great group of individuals, man. And so salute to them. We're semifinalists for an Impact Award, and we're confident that we're going to get that award because we're breaking ground on an empowerment of young people. That's one. Number two, my daughter graduates this Sunday from Spelman College. And I just want to shout out.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I want to shout out.
I wanted to go to. Oh my God, I love it. Beautiful.
Yeah,
school.
I'm so proud of her. She's a double major, and she's graduating magna cum laude. And I am just super proud of my young lady who is going to Howard Law School next year in the fall. So I'm pumped, man, because I can't be the educator to talk about it and not be about it. So whatever I instill in others is what I expect of my own child. So I'm thankful for that. And salute to everyone on this. And listen, I'm gonna come back if y'all send me one of them shirts that says VPR, because I need to. Because I like to have some drip every now and then when I'm doing my thing in front of folks. So hook me up. All right?
I got you
on that. I got you on that.
All right.
We got you, Dr. Clark. We appreciate you. We'll definitely talk to you soon. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right, great meeting you.
Absolutely wonderful. I mean, FMI.
Yeah, like guys, when I speak about what I do, and whether I come from the club and then I'll have a conversation here with people that are doing real change in real life, and it does make me feel like we are helping our community, and that's the feeling I love that me and Qiana can create, and you guys are also watching, so thank you for that.
Yeah, I mean that's it. You said it all. Dr. Clark said it all. I love seeing the passion that he's bringing to education because it's so important. When the kids see that passion, they become just as passionate. So, keep doing what you do. You guys can go and make sure that you follow him. We'll definitely bring him back. And we hope that you have an exceptional day, you guys, and that you're feeling that same passionate energy that we're leaving you with, and you take it through your day and do some great things, okay? And we'll see
Make sure
you next
you be
week.
an oak tree. Be strong.
Be the oak tree. Okay. That is the term of the day on my oak tree behavior. Okay. Hashtag I'm an oak tree.
Oak tree Thursday.
Right. Oak tree.
Oak tree. Thank you for
tuning in.
All right,
you guys. We'll see you next week. Ciao.